A defiant President Donald Trump on Thursday further inflamed racial tensions in the GOP divide, tweeting his support for beautiful Confederate statues and attacking Republican senators who have panned his response to the violent Charlottesville white supremacist protests. Republican lawmakers, CEOs and military leaders have raced to distance themselves from the president after he doubled down on his claim that both sides are to blame for the violent clashes that left one dead and injured more than a dozen others. Story continued below, but the president is showing no signs of backing down. Sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments, Trump wrote Thursday morning. You can't change history, but you can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, who's next? Washington, Jefferson so foolish. Also, the beauty that is being taken out of our cities, towns and parks will be greatly missed and never able to be comparably replaced, added Trump, who appeared to be sympathizing with some of the white supremacists and neo-Nazis who rallied to protest the removal of Confederate Gen. Robert E. Lee's statue. Trump also went on the attack against Sen. Lindsey Graham R.S.C., who had accused Trump of taking a step backward by again suggesting there is moral equivalency between the white supremacist neo-Nazis and KKK members who attended the Charlottesville rally. The president responded with anger, tweeting on Thursday morning that the publicity-seeking lawmaker's statement was false. Such a disgusting lie, Trump said. He just can't forget his election trouncing. Trump went after Sen. Jeff Flake as well, after the Arizona Republican had warned on Wednesday that the GOP can't claim to be the party of Lincoln if we equivocate in condemning white supremacy. Great to see that Dr. Kelly Ward is running against Flake. Jeff Flake, who is weak on borders, crime and a non-factor in Senate, Trump said, seemingly endorsing the GOP primary challenger over the vulnerable incumbent senator. He's toxic. Taken together, the chaos of the week represents another low for Trump's presidency, especially as he tries to revive efforts to repeal Obamacare, pass tax reform and push an infrastructure package, while also finding a congressional compromise that can avert a government shutdown and government default this fall. Trump can ill afford to lose the support of fellow Republicans, with the slim majority the party holds in the Senate. And it's not just lawmakers who are shunning Trump and his rhetoric. A steady flow of business leaders have also severed ties with the White House, prompting Trump to disband 2 advisory councils to stem the tide of defections. Even military leaders on the Joint Chiefs of Staff have taken stands, unequivocally stating that racism and hatred won't be tolerated within the armed forces. I can absolutely and unambiguously tell you there is no place for racism and bigotry in the U.S. military or in the United States as a whole, Marine Corps Gen. Joe Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said Thursday from Beijing. Trump is also facing heightened turmoil in his White House, a dynamic that chief strategist Steve Bannon further aggravated by giving multiple interviews in which he broke from the president on North Korea, attacked his West Wing colleagues, including economic advisor Gary Cohn, and threatened to overhaul the Defense and State Departments. By signing up, you agree to receive email newsletters or alerts from Politico. You can unsubscribe at any time. He took a dig at Trump officials who are shying away from an aggressive trade policy, saying they are wetting themselves. That's a fight I fight every day here, Bannon said. We're still fighting. There's Treasury and Gary Cohn and Goldman Sachs lobbying. The embattled White House aide also amplified Trump's culture wars message, saying the president's "where does it all end" skepticism connects with the American people about their history, cultures and traditions. The race identity politics of the left wants to say it's all racist. Just give me more, Bannon told the New York Times. Tear down more statues. Say the revolution is coming. I can't get enough of it. But descendants of Confederate Gen. Thomas Stonewall Jackson have called for the removal of his statue and others who represent the Confederacy. They are overt symbols of racism and white supremacy, and the time is long overdue for them to depart from public display, Jackson's great-great-grandsons William Jackson Christian and Warren Edmund Christian wrote in an open letter to the mayor of Richmond, Virginia. Douglas Brinkley, a presidential historian at Rice University, said on Thursday that Trump has joined Andrew Johnson and Woodrow Wilson as the most virulently racist presidents of the post-Civil War. Donald Trump seems to want to incite a cultural war, Brinkley said, adding that the president is willing to be incendiary on racial issues for political gain. But he questioned the upside of defending Confederate monuments, noting that the Midwestern states that ultimately carried Trump to victory, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan and Pennsylvania, all fought on the side of the Union. A CBS News poll released Thursday morning shows that 55% of Americans disapprove of Trump's response to Charlottesville, though more than 2/3 of Republicans surveyed do approve. The poll was conducted Monday, when Trump declared racism evil and condemned hate groups by name, through Wednesday, a day after the president doubled down on his initial response that white supremacists weren't the only people responsible for violence. Trump, however, eyed a different data point. Many meetings today in Bedminster, including with Secretary Linda M. in small business, he tweeted, after attacking Republican senators but before tweeting about the Confederate monuments being taken down across the country. Job numbers are looking great. Matthew Nussbaum and Lewis Nelson contributed to this report.